Just want to do a couple of checks here to make sure that our volume is working well. There should be some chat boxes just beneath this video, and if you cannot hear me, please go ahead and type something into the chat box, and I will take a look at that. So just give us a minute or so before we get started just to make sure that we're not wasting our time and I'm just talking with no volume. Okay, let me check. Okay, so I've just checked, and apparently the volume is working. So let's go ahead and get started. I want to welcome everyone who's watching today, and I want to encourage you that if you're just signing in for the first time, you really don't need to sign in, but you can go ahead and click the Follow Me button, and what that will do is that will notify you automatically whenever I'm doing a live broadcast. So I want to encourage you to do that. Share this via your social media, be it Facebook, Twitter, Google+, or whatever else. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you haven't already, join my private Facebook group. This is a very interactive group where people ask questions and I try to answer them as quickly as possible. People also provide great information, great resources, things I may have never found myself, things I may have never thought of. So you are contributing to this community. This is a community that's about moving forward. It's not about complaining. It's not about trying to stay where we are. It's about moving forward and becoming the excellent speakers and people that we're all capable of becoming. And you don't necessarily have to stutter to be a part of this, because this really isn't about the stopping of stuttering. It's about becoming what? An excellent speaker, becoming a smoother, more fluent, more confident speaker. That's what this is about, yes? So last week we looked at the D.A.M strategy. I hope you looked at the D.A.M strategy, okay? Because we began working on the first part of the D.A.M strategy, which was the D, right? It's the D. So someone tell me what the D stands for. I can hear you. That's right. It stands for decide why you want to stop stuttering or stop anything else, right? That's getting in your way, that's preventing you from becoming the person that you can be. Decide why you want to do it and why you want to start speaking well, right? Why? And we talked about the importance of why. I hope that you had a chance to download the D.A.M strategy package. There's lots of audio and stuff in there. And I also hope that you had a chance to download the personal strategic plan and that you started on the vision part of that. Because we said that if you're very clear about what your life is going to look like when you're speaking well, so right now we're focusing on speaking well. If you're very clear about what your life's going to look like, that is your career, your spirituality, your relationships, your health, your emotional health, what is that going to look like? What is that going to feel like when you're speaking well? If you're clear about that, and the clearer you are about that, then the more motivated you will be to do whatever you need to do to get there. Now, does that make sense? So if you're not clear, if it's kind of fuzzy, you're probably going to give up, right? Probably going to give up because it's a long road, it's a hard road, but it's worth it. I was talking with one of my coaching clients just yesterday, and we were talking about this why thing. Like, okay. So I asked him, well, why did you decide to work on this? And here's what he told me. It was actually a surprising answer. He didn't say his career. He's a doctor, and he's still working on that process. But he said it's because of my mom. His mom was very sick at one time, and this impacted him severely. But his mom was in the hospital, and this is what he told me. And he said his mom said, "You can do this. You can start speaking well." And he said it was her encouragement that motivated him to stick with this. She just kept telling him, you're getting better, you're getting better, you're starting to do. And so it was for his mother. And I'm sure a part of it was because, of course, he wants to be able to fulfill his potential as a doctor and as a person. But his mom was right there to encourage and motivate him. So last week, we ended off with me saying that I wanted to go a little deeper into why one of the reasons that you want to have for speaking well, why one of the reasons is to impact the lives of other people, right? To impact the lives of other people. Why one of those should be one of your reasons, right? Why is that important? Well, I want to give you some hope in this message and in every message. Everything that you and I do is cumulative. It has a cumulative effect. Therefore, all of the decisions that we make also have a cumulative effect. They accumulate over time. So when you decide that you're going to do something, if you decide you're going to start speaking well, you're going to start working on your speech, and you reaffirm that decision every hour, every day, every week, however many times you need to do it so that you stick with it, that you're committed to it. You can't just do it once necessarily. You might have to reaffirm it. When you make that decision and you do it, that decision is cumulative. That is, it builds up over time. It builds momentum. It builds force, right? It's able to move you, that decision. The more you make it, the more you stick with it and do something about it, take action, which we'll talk about in the next session, it becomes cumulative. Your actions become cumulative. Every little thing you do accumulates, right? It accumulates and it builds. So when you decide that you're going to improve your speech because you want to impact the lives of others, that also builds force, it builds momentum, and that decision accumulates as well. And one of the things that it does is it gives you this sense of doing something greater than yourself. Sometimes just wanting to improve for ourselves is not enough. Sometimes, and often, if not all the time, we actually need to want to make an impact on the lives of others, right? We actually need to want to do something that goes beyond ourselves. And what I want to do is to read to you from a little book, actually it's kind of a big book that I got. It's like a coffee table book that I got from a colleague of mine. Let me see if you can see this. It's called One, How Many People Does It Take to Make a Difference? Wonderful little book. It's really inspiring. I want to read to you just a little bit, so hang in here with me because there's some famous quotes from some famous people. Let me just read this to you because this is really what we're talking about. It says, "It is paradoxical but profoundly true that the most certain way for people to bring hope, help, meaning and joy to their own lives is by reaching out and bringing hope, help, meaning and joy to the lives of others. If you've already experienced this beautiful phenomenon for yourself, you're in good company." So I just want you to sit with that for a little bit. So if you want to bring hope, help, meaning, and joy to your own life, then you bring it to the lives of other people, right? Now, Martin Luther King said, "Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others?" Albert Einstein said, "Each of us is here for a brief sojourn. For what purpose we know not. Though sometimes we sense it, but we know from daily life that we exist for other people first of all, for whose smiles and well-being our own happiness depends." Danny Thomas, founder of St. Jude Hospital. "All of us are born for a reason, but all of us don't discover why. Success in life has nothing to do with what you gain in life or accomplish for yourself. It's what you do for others." Ralph Waldo Emerson, poet. "Unselfish acts are the real miracles out of which all the reported miracles grow. Robert Ingersoll, scholar, we rise by lifting others. Margaret Mead, anthropologist, I must admit that I personally measure success in terms of the contributions an individual makes to her or his fellow human beings. Albert Schweitzer, humanitarian, I don't know what your destiny will be, but this I know, the only ones among you who will be truly happy are those who will have sought and found how to serve. So all of those people can't be wrong. More people have said it as well. But there's something about contributing, doing something for, lifting up, building up, helping, giving hope to the lives or to other people and into the lives of others that does something for you as well. What does this have to do with the why? Well, when your reason for wanting to improve yourself, improve your speech, or whatever it is that you want to do, if one of the reasons, if not the most important reason, is so that you can better serve others, then you will be more likely to be happier, to have more hope, to be stronger, to be more persistent, more perseverant, right? To stick in there, to improve yourself, to improve your speech. We know this is a challenging process. Many people give up. Many people give up because it's too hard, it's taking too long, they don't see results yet. Remember, I said everything is cumulative. So as you're working on this process, you may not see results at first, but you're building a foundation. And the foundation takes time. And there's a biological and neurological reason for this, right, that I've explained in other videos, and I'll just briefly share that with you in just a moment. But it takes time. So everything you do is accumulating. It's accumulating. And then all of a sudden, there's a breakthrough, and you see a difference. I'll share this with you, and then I'll come back and share just a reason why biologically and neurologically, why this takes time. But same client I was talking to yesterday, as well as my other clients, and I talked to them, I said, okay, what is it that you've done to make your speech well? And here's what they said. Basically, it boils down to one or two things. I say, how many hours a week do you actually practice? And invariably, the ones who have improved the fastest and the most say minimum of about 6 hours. Minimum of about 6 hours a week, right? Here's what else they say. Number two. What else do you do? I use my new speaking style every time I speak. Now, when they first started, it didn't really work, right? It didn't really work. It was really difficult. They weren't able to actually implement it, but they kept using it, and all of those tries accumulated, right? And over time, they were able to use it longer and longer, more and more, and it get better and better. And so what they did is they didn't just practice at home. They didn't just go out and say, I tried it and it didn't work. I looked stupid. They just kept trying it until one day, and then another day, and another day, they found themselves speaking better and better. So 2 things they did. One is they practiced a minimum of about 6 hours a week. Number 2, they used their new speaking style every time they spoke, even when it didn't work at first. Those are the ones who do the best, the fastest. Other people, it takes them longer. They've made vast improvements, but it's taking them longer, right? Because maybe they're not remembering to use their new speaking style. Maybe they're afraid because of identity. Maybe it's because it seems strange, because it is strange. It's new, right? So let's talk about the biological or neurological reason why these things kind of accumulate, why it takes time. Just briefly, whenever we're talking about growing any part of our body, be it our muscles, our nails, our hair, or brain cells, it takes time. It takes repetition, especially when we're talking about those those neurons, those neurological pathways, right? So whenever we're learning a new skill or we're developing a new habit or something, there's growth. There's growth. There's those neurons that are growing and connecting to each other in a certain way, and that simply takes time. And it also feels, if it's something different, if it's strange, it feels strange. It feels odd, right? It feels odd because it necessarily must feel that way when we're developing something new. It's going to feel strange. It's going to seem odd because it is strange. It is odd. It is different than what you've been doing before. And the body likes to and it wants to maintain a sense of what we call homeostasis. It wants to kind of stay the same. So whenever we try to do something different, it fights back against that. And it says, whoa, no, I don't want to do that. Okay, so whenever you try to use your new style, whoa, this seems strange. What are other people going to think? It doesn't matter what other people think. So, in brief, that's the reason that you have to keep at it until you see the results because it's cumulative. And what's also cumulative is your decision, right, to stick in there and to hang in there so that you can better impact the lives of other people, right? That decision motivates you. That decision drives you. And the more you reaffirm it, the more you affirm it every day, that this is why I'm doing this. For your mother, for the world, for the community, also for yourself, then the more motivated you will be, the more likely you will hang in there until you reach that goal. So, today we are wrapping up the why. I know I touched on some things that all tie into this, but the D stands for to decide why you want to start speaking well. Why do you want to start speaking well? And I submit to you that one of your reasons why should, almost must have something to do with impacting the lives of other people. As we just heard from all those famous people, it's only when you lift up someone else, when you build up, when you give hope, when you give help, when you serve other people, that you yourself are helped and lifted up and given hope and served, right? And you have the energy and the drive to keep going. When you make a decision that one of the reasons why I want to do this so I can better serve other people. The people who only want to do it because it's an inconvenience, because they can't talk to girls, can't talk to guys. Sometimes they make it as well. Very often they do. But often they don't because it gets too hard. And sometimes that's not enough. It's not enough to drive them. So the why is critically important. So I want to encourage you to download that PSP, Personal Strategic Plan. Get working on that vision, and you can work your way through the rest of it as well. But your assignment is, and yes, I'm giving you homework, but it shouldn't take you long. And I've had thousands and thousands of students. I'm a professor at a community college, and I have all of my students every semester, and I teach, 5 or 6 classes a year, right? So usually 3 per semester or so, and have been doing this for several years now. Thousands of students do this exercise, and it's helpful to many, if not most, if not all. So I want you to do this. Get into that vision part and create a vision of what your life will look like when you start speaking well. Not if you start speaking well, but when. Remember, you may have tried other programs before. You maybe have tried this program. Notice I said try. But this is biology, right? If you can learn a new skill, you can create a new style of speaking. If you can develop new habits, you can create a new style of speaking. It's not a matter of if, right? It's not a matter of, well, let me try this and see if it works. I've tried everything else. I've gone to some of the best therapists in the world. I have people that come through that's gone to everyone that's been to the best people in the world. This will work. This is not if. It's simply a matter of, will you do everything I ask you to do, and will you hang in there until you see that it works? Now, Here's what I want you to do. Go check out my website. Look on the latest news, which is the blog. So you scroll down some, and you'll see there's an article there. It's an ongoing article of someone who went through the Pro 90D programs. It's not even the coaching. Went through the program. And it took them several months, I believe, before they actually started to see some really tangible, lasting results. And they journaled it. So I'm basically reblogging, but there's a link where you can go and you can read the entire article or blog. Person did this for a couple of months, so you can go, just last year. Go check that out for yourself. Also, know that one of the things that you absolutely must do if you want to make a difference, if you really want to see a change in your speech, is you have to practice. You have to practice, because practicing is what creates that new speaking style. You have to practice a minimum number of hours per week, or else you'll just be creeping along, barely getting results. And you have to hang in there, because you may not see results for a while. For some people, it might be a month, might be 2 months. You're like, okay, how do I know if this is really working? You have to have faith that if you have a brain and your brain's not, if you have more than half a brain, which most of you do, some people do have brain damage, but there are people even with half of their brains who can still learn new skills. So if you have more than half a brain, you can learn new skills. You can develop new habits. You can do this. You will do it as long as you follow it along, you practice, and you stick with it. Okay? Next week, we're going to get into the A in the D.A.M strategy. So I want you to follow me, watch this replay, go over it again, try to pull out the nuggets. You can't just watch or listen to something one time and think that you got it. I have stuff that I listen to hundreds, if not thousands of times, that I have listened to hundreds and will continue to. You learn something new each time. Okay, so as long as my voice isn't irritating to you, then go ahead and watch this or listen to it. I personally don't watch a lot of videos. I listen to audio. So all of my programs normally come with an audio version. So listen to it if you don't want to sit and watch. Also want you to be on the lookout, because I've got a mobile speech trainer that's coming out. So follow me, check out my website, check out the Facebook, connect with me on Facebook, Google+, YouTube, and follow me here on live stream. I will be doing some more structured webinars in the future, so look out for those as well. Leave your comments. Leave me your comments and questions. Look for another live program as we continue through the D.A.M strategy next week, okay? So this is Michael Williams, and remember that if you want to start speaking well, then use the what? The D.A.M strategy. Use the D.A.M strategy. I'll see you next week.